Every other time with Eric, a special episode, a festive special.
Yeah.
Got a legend in the building. I know I throw around that word quite a bit, but today I think it's actual. We have a living legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Abel Mutua is in the building. How you doing, bro?
My man. I'm good, man.
First of all, thanks for coming.
Hey, yo, it's an honor, man.
Man, thank you for
It's
coming.
an honor. I told you I listened to your story, Maze, beginning of this year, and it inspired me.
Wow.
I guess it was so real and raw for me because I had just lost someone.
Yes.
So I could feel you, Maze, on another scale. Yeah. It was insane. So keep up, man.
Thank you so much. And backstory, I always have a backstory. So around the time when I dropped my infamous CTA,
Yes.
famous or infamous,
Yeah.
however you want to look at it,
Yeah.
I am in the terminal.
Correct.
In between sectors. So a sector is usually will fly from either Nairobi to Kisumu back.
Yes.
And then as the plane is being prepared for another sector, I walk into the terminal.
Yeah.
And I see a badly disguised Abel Mutua. You're trying to lay low.
In a hat and some black stanners.
Is that actually how you try like hide?
No, actually, I don't hide.
Oh, you're not?
That was just me, and in my element.
Yeah.
I'm very social, by the way.
And this superstar had the courtesy to tell me he's a fan. So that was really touching.
Ah, man.
I was like, what? Abel Mutua is a fan?
I couldn't believe, Maze, I was seeing you. In fact, barely 2 days before that, I told my wife, Maze, you, whatever, yani find time, just watch this CTA. Because even her, she has family that's really going through stuff. So it was a moment for me seeing you 2 days later after I just told her, Maze, you need to find this guy's CTA and watch it. Yeah, so actually after we met, she went and started that CTA. Yeah, she started immediately.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and she was like, oh my God, Eric has a story and a half. Man.
Truly humble. Shout out Esther again for giving me that platform.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of my whole origin story into content, man.
Yeah,
but today I wanna explore this specific industry of ours. I'm not gonna take it back all the way to the beginning.
Yeah.
You're a famous guy. You've told your story time immemorial.
Correct.
You guys kind of know this, the origin story. We kind of know.
It's all over.
Yeah. But we're just coming off the bat of the Trinity experience. And off camera, we spent about 20 minutes. My wife was fanning out.
Yeah.
She got to experience that whole thing. I was unable to make it because I had work the next day.
Yeah.
And you guys were able to pull off something amazing.
Oh, man.
And I was telling Abel how putting a podcast together, a podcast is 3 cameras, some lights,
and good audio.
And good audio. Takes quite a bit of my time.
True.
So what about putting a film, man? What's the process?
Oh, my God, man. Oh, that's why in Hollywood, like the very best can only do like a film every 3 years. It's insane, man. From the idea development, you sit down with that thing for months, just, poking holes. Then once you have your product ready, you go into the pre-production phase, which, by the way, if you ask me, is the most important phase.
The pre-production.
Once you get your pre-production wrong, that's it. The whole project goes down the shitter. That's the problem.
But riddle me this.
Yeah.
Because before you even get to pre-prod, the idea is in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm a guy I'm a msanii at heart. I know I fly. That's just to survive the society, to be able to earn a living.
Yeah.
But now these things that live in your head,
yeah,
for it to be in movie format, where do you start?
Oh, now, so luckily for us, we found a low-hanging fruit. So, I tell stories on YouTube.
Yes.
These stories are actually true stories.
Yes.
They are stories that belong to people that exist.
Yes.
So all our movies are based on those stories. So that takes away like 40-50% of the work. So apart from the very first one, we did a movie called A Grand Little Lie when we were testing the waters. So we decided with that one, let's go fictional kidogo. We came up with a very simple story. Actually, that movie broke records. There's never been a film in this country shot in the number of days that we used to shoot A Grand Little Lie. It was shot in 8 days.
Well done.
That was unheard of.
But a movie has a screenplay. How do you put that together in 8 days?
Actually, I think took me like a week to put it down. But now the actual production process was 8 days. We shot it. We started, I think, on Wednesday. We were done by the following week on Thursday actually. Done. It went to post-production for under 3 weeks. Usually these things go to post for like months. 5-6 months.
So 8 days, is that day and night?
Yeah, we had some night scenes at some point. So we used to have very early mornings and we wrap up a bit late. Sometimes we'd go overnight when we have the night scenes. Yeah, so it was it was quite a hectic week, man.
But to put a screenplay or even down to start penning the actual idea that you have in your head.
Yeah.
That process, is that something that anyone can do, or you have to be a naturally talented artist?
Yeah, there's two aspects to it. For you to be a proper storyteller, you know that storytelling.
Yes.
It's just that the format is different. You're putting it on paper.
Yes.
So there are two aspects to it. There's the engineering. Now that's the formatting, how to plot the story. That is teachable. You can be taught. Then there's the fire. The fire, unfortunately, cannot be taught. You either have it or you don't.
Yes.
Yeah. So luckily for people like us, we have both.
Yes.
We have the engineering and the fire, because I went to film school. I was trained as a writer. I met a very good producer. In fact, my first job at Citizen TV, I was an actor on Tahiti High. I started writing for Tahiti High because this producer took me on a crash course for like a week. She had gone to Netherlands to study writing for dramas and comedies. So she had gems for notes, man. So I went through the notes, and we had a crash course there for like a week. And the things that I learned in 2009 through her are the same tactics I apply to date. Yeah. So that's the engineering aspect. That can be taught. But now how to make it, enticing.
Yes.
Those two, your wife
sauce.
the sauce. If you ask your wife, because she was there when we were premiering the film, it's a very, very heavy film.
Yes.
But at some point, you'd hear the room burst out laughing.
She cried.
She cried.
Yeah.
So taking people through that emotion, now that's where the fire is.
Now, there's also an element, of course, there's a natural ability.
Yeah.
There's a curiosity.
Yeah.
Abel, as a superstar, was here 30 minutes early. And for me, I'm a pilot, man. Time. I really respect time.
Oh, nice.
So for you showing up early, for me, just speaks to a bigger thing in terms of work ethic.
Oh, thanks.
I know after this, you also have engagements. So talk about that hunger, that work ethic. What's the origin of that?
So, first of all, when you come from a place where people have absolutely no hope, you can either go two ways. You can either follow them and decide to be, useless just to prove them right, or you can decide to change things and prove them wrong. So for me, the latter was exactly what happened. I grew up in Kibera, where as soon as you came of age, there were only two options. If you're a guy, you become a gangster. If you're a chick, get married, early pregnancies, raise people's kids there.
What's of age? Of age is 18 or 16 or like any?
As soon as your boobs start to grow, man, that's what, 14, 15, thereabout. Yeah. In fact, when I was doing my KCPE, I went to school with my neighbor who was heavily pregnant.
Damn.
I didn't say KCSE.
KCPE.
KCPE.
Hey, GHC.
Yeah. Yes. Those days it was out of 700. We were doing 13 subjects.
So, and contrary to popular belief,
yeah,
I know people probably can even now Google your age. Bro, you look nothing north of 31, bro.
Man, you'll be surprised, man.
How?
I just turned 38 like
I know you're really, but I was like, you look young, man.
I guess it's a Kamba thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kambas rarely age. But it gets to a point then it speeds up. Once we get to like 45, 50. Yeah, man. So it was rough, maze, coming up. And I remember, in fact, this is a story I've told. As soon as I was done with high school, because I knew I had a knack for this acting and whatnot, there were some auditions happening at Ngong Race Course, at Ngong Hills Hotel.
Yes.
And we went. I didn't know it was a bank audition. They were auditioning for a bank commercial. So me, I'm there, I'm lining up, I'm number, 310. Do you know, one of those guys just came straight to, we were like a group of 3 from Key Beach. Came straight to us and told us, hey, you guys, mkijiangalia mnaona ni kama mnaweza uza kitu ya bank. Just imagine. Tokeni. Ile siku tutakuwa tunatafuta hooligans nini.
Wow.
Wa extras wa kupita huko nyuma, we'll give you a call.
But undeterred. So how important, because, especially the newer generation, and shout out to them, they have very many positives. But I find sometimes they get discouraged very easily.
Very easily,
one no. Now, talk about the grit around being able to take a no and such. Then is someone telling you you don't fit the bill.
I know, man. But you see, me all my life I've been told no. because when you're a bit disadvantaged, nobody sees anything good with you. So me, that thing I had been told so many times. Sometimes it gets ingrained in even the people around you. I remember, again, it's a story I've told. When I went home and told my mom, Mazemi, I'm crashing mad on Sanaipe Itande. She was like, stop that nonsense immediately. There is no way Sanaipe Itande will give a chokora 5 minutes. You see, that's my own mom.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's so ingrained in you when you're down there, baka you feel like that's the norm. So that's the thing that I really needed to change, man.
So are you insinuating that or saying that on top of course, circumstantial environs, poverty is also a mindset?
It is. Oh my God, absolutely. And that's why I keep telling guys, it doesn't matter where you grew up, but if you feel like the environment is pulling you down, get the hell out. Because there's some complacency around where people, I guess misery loves company. So, in fact, it was so bad. Kibich, if you told guys, Maze, hey, Banami, I've had it with the hood, I'm trying to move out to Nini. That's beef. Because where are you going?
How dare you?
How dare you leave the hood, man? Hii kondani yako bro, unaenda wapi? Who tells you you're going to be accepted where you're going? You see, it's a mindset that we need to change, man. And anybody who's remained behind, they're still struggling to date. Keep in mind, I left Kibich almost 18 years ago.
Wow.
They're still struggling to date. And the people who managed to, escape, now they're doing very well for themselves.
Do you ever have survivor's remorse? You know the way?
Yeah, I used to, but I learned something. As soon as you're 18, you're an adult. You can make decisions. Once you get to 25, there are some excuses you can't use. You can't start telling people, me, my parents, Mazege didn't give me. After 25, we wacha yo upuzi bana, we toka enda fanya kazi.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I used to feel that way, but then I came to discover, wait a minute, these are grown-ass people. In fact, some of these people are older than me. So what's the excuse? If I did it, then they can do it. And I'm not the only one. People came out of the trenches, man.
Kabisa.
Yeah, akina Chris Adwar, the famous producer, was my neighbor in Kibich. Octopizo. Laini Saba. Kwanza they were in the trenches proper. Hata sisi hatuko hiyo level.
Shout out Octopizo. And shout out Mwaf from Ikonini. There's something he said about how, and I actually went and Googled it, about how in Africa, specifically to Kenya, we define youth as at till 35.
Yeah.
You go on Google, you check what a youth
Yeah.
is. It's 17 to 24.
Exactly.
So this whole thing for guys being deceived. You're not, by the time you're 30, you have life under your belt, man. There's no way you can be...
You can't blame people for your... No. Yeah, so those are the things, but I felt like, apana, I need to get out of this. And I did. In fact, I graduated high school, went to college in 2005. I used to come home for a week tops. After that 1 week, I'm out.
Back.
Yeah. South B was my hood.
Yeah.
And I saw different in South B, man.
Yes.
The way people are reasoning there, and it's completely different. So I knew for a fact, no, Kibich is not for me. Immediately, we graduated in 2008. I told my mom, that's it, I'm gone. And that's when I left.
Now, there's this societal thing that happens when you advance, especially when it comes to financial, just your ecosystem growing bigger. You've talked about having survivor's remorse.
Yeah.
Survivor's remorse, for the audience who might not know, is, when you feel like, maybe even me, I should have stayed back in the hood.
Yeah.
But now, as you elevate, because you've reached quite far in society, right?
Yeah.
The idea of, at some point, letting people go. And I've been faced with such scenarios, and sometimes... Maybe you've known someone since you were 5 years old. But when you try reason with these guys, sometimes you'll hear, subtle jealousy.
Yeah.
And you can't ignore it.
True.
Someone always starts from, when you engage them, it starts like a negative.
Yeah.
So at some point, you have to start like pruning your circle.
Yeah, it happens actually. In fact, I remember when we started doing the TV shows on KTN, I had a whole battalion of people that I had picked up from the hood.
Rolling deep.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, heavy. Then it got to a point, of course, now Salos started becoming an issue. I wasn't the one paying them. They were being paid from elsewhere.
Yes.
But since I was the one who plugged them in, somebody just decided, you know what? If we say this company is not paying us, nobody will listen. But if we drag this nigga there, people now will start listening.
Yes.
And that one person started that rumor. And I didn't care because there's always that one bad apple.
Yes.
Yeah, iko sawa. But the moment this other clique of mine decided to stay silent, knowing full well the truth of the matter, that's when I decided, Abel, by the way, you came here alone.
Yes.
You don't have your other siblings here. Hapana, uko hapa peke yako. That's the day I decided, me, if we are not in sync, I'm not touching you. And if I touch you, and somewhere along the way I start discovering, okay, now you're starting to deviate, you're starting to forge your own path, well and good. Waenda. This whole story of comeliaing people ati because, unajua tumetoka mbali na wewe. No. That one is done. In fact, I don't even do it to my own siblings.
Yes.
Yeah. All of them are now above 18. So they can make their own decisions. Me, where I'm needed to come through, I'll come through, but keep distance.
That's very important for you to say, and for me, very personal, because I'm at an age where I'm trying to define who I am, even from my ethics to my boundaries, what I stand for, what I don't stand for.
Yeah.
And I find when I look at some of my friends from the past, we're just not, some of them were not reasoning on the same level.
Correct.
It's a very hard pill to swallow initially.
I know.
It's like, but there's, you guys used to play ball,
But it's not for you to go down to their level. It's for them to either catch up or just, So
it's okay to just move on.
Yeah, move on, man. Move on. Oh, man, there are plenty of people out here, Maze, who are on the same level as you are or even higher. They only need that leg up.
Yeah.
And how. Yeah. These ones who are dragging you down, channel.
So how?
Yeah.
So take me back to the writer's room, the writer's process.
Very nice. So, pale... my company is called Philip Productions. I'm a co-founder there together with my brother Philip Karanja.
Yes.
So
that's Director Phil.
Director Phil.
Shout out Director Phil as well.
Yes.
We put him on the screen as well.
Good. So we have something called the Philip Think Tank, because we know, Maze, you can't be everything. There are people with great ideas out here. So those are the people we try and bring into that room. So our writer's room consists of like 6 to 7 people. So every time we have a project that's coming up, we usually put it on the table and we dissect it 100%. Poke holes. Sometimes you sit with an idea up in your house, you think it's a Hollywood standard. Then you put it on the table and they poke holes there, you discover, hey, kumbe hapa sikuwa na kitu.
So feelings out the window.
Out the window, man. Pale hakuna teacher, ni mkuru. Sometimes they give me crap, man. But I love it because once the product is out there, it's A1. If there are people that you need to keep out of your life, Eric, yes, man.
Yes, man.
Keep yes, men as far as possible. Yani, do not touch them with a 6-inch stick. Do not. Those are the people who will make you not grow. You need people to call you out on your bullshit. Yeah, and actually from your story, I picked up a few of them.
Yes, shout out
Ricky. Were like, yo, bro, bana.
Shout out my brother Kevin.
Exactly, unachoma, man.
Yes, man, will have you sitting in a New York jail with billions of dollars net worth because they didn't tell you, bro, the story of baby oil, bana.
Exactly.
Relax.
Yeah, so it's usually awesome. So now once we're on that writer's room and we look at an idea and a concept and we decide, this is beautiful. Now we start fleshing it out, pole. There's usually a few steps for when you're writing a story. Yeah, you have to introduce your characters vizuri, because a story is a journey. You have to take your character on a journey.
Yes.
That is what you as the audience enjoy, because
peaks and valleys.
Exactly. So there's a way we've been taught to plot that story so that it's not linear, it's not monotone, it's got the arcs. Those arcs are what keeps it interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what exactly happens in that room. I think I should do a masterclass on
definitely.
On story.
I'll be in attendance.
Yeah. It's usually like 5 to 7 steps of how to plot out your story.
What about cast? Because off camera you talked about how for that specific role, for the movie that premiered this past weekend.
Correct.
When you are imagining the character, you said it was a no-brainer. Yeah,
absolutely.
So how does that come into play? Like how do you write with someone in mind?
No, actually, I used to. Back in the day, I used to. Actually, in fact, the way Njugush came into the picture is from some news item I wrote. and I knew he was the guy for the job. So for that, I wrote with him in mind. But most of the other shows that came after, you just write a good script, make sure your characters are very strong. In fact, you see the way you have plot lines for a story.
Yeah.
There are plot lines for a character. Because you don't just become Eric. It's a culmination and a combination of very many things.
Yes.
Your upbringing, the people you interact with, your beliefs. That's what makes a character. So those are some of the things that you need to flesh out when you're writing for someone. You don't just put down a name there. Eric wakes up in the morning. Who is this Eric? What drives him? Yeah. What are his goals? What is stopping him from achieving those goals?
Yes.
Hizo vitu zote lazima you put them down. So I make sure I do that so that when we are casting, the casting director knows exactly how to prep the actors casting for that role. Because if you just give them a blank slate, they can be anything. But if you give them the proper direction, this guy is supposed to be like this, he's this many years old, he has a family, he doesn't have a family. And now it helps to build up that character. So when we are writing, apart from just writing the script, the character descriptions are always put down to the T.
To the T.
Yeah. Mpaka mannerisms. You have to write them down.
So do guys have to come in and read for the role?
Yes, they have to.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's usually a first round. They come and do the thing. Then out of that, we take them to like a kamchujo of some sort. So they come in for a second audition and sometimes even a third one.
If you're looking for a recovering alcoholic story,
Hey, through pass.
for someone to come and do a
I know,
an audition.
I know. Yeah.
Count me. But as someone who's
sorry. Actually, you mentioned our main character. So we did all that with the actors that we auditioned, and we actually locked someone. And this guy is good. In fact, he has the voice, he has the looks. He looks the part. But there's something that Denzel will give you that a relatively new actor will not, and that's purely experience. This new actor can be awesome, but because they haven't been tried and tested and refined as much as Denzel, there's some things that Denzel would do on set that it wouldn't occur to this new other person to do it. So it was for that reason that in the very last minute, it was decided, this character that we've chosen, let's cast him for something else. Because I know we'll have new shows coming next year. Let's just give Pascal. Because Pascal, I've seen that boy since he was in high school.
Yes. Put Pascal on the screen for guys to see.
Yeah. Tokodi. So I know his range. That guy has range for days. You want him to be lovable? He'll be lovable. You want him to be hated. And that's the journey that he took the audience. That's why, even if you ask your wife, when the movie starts, you love Pascal.
Yes.
Pascal is the ideal man for any chick out here, regardless.
Yes.
Then by the time the story now is taking that dark twist, you start to hate him almost immediately.
But now, as an actor, because you said at some point in between like days of shooting, because for you to play someone, you have to embody them.
100.
That means if someone is going through a rough patch in the movie or something, you have to be angry, you have to be this different person.
Yeah.
You have to embody that.
100.
And you were saying that times now post-shooting, you guys you'll find yourself shedding tears together because now how does one embody someone? Because that is, I've always been very curious about that.
Yeah.
Getting into the role.
Yeah. It takes time. Like days of getting into that character. You have to embody that character 100%. So much so that sometimes it becomes a problem for some actors to de-roll. You're so much in fact, there's a guy in Hollywood who has that problem.
Christian Bale.
Yes. It usually takes him time to de-roll.
You're going home as Batman.
Yeah.
Right? Where's the salt?
Very true.
Yeah.
So I can imagine for someone like Pascal, man. In fact, when he was casted for the role, he came for the first reading. He read the script and he came to me and he was like, man, you're throwing me in the pits, my brother. I swear, man. Because now I have to go and be this monster. It's so difficult for me because I am raising a girl. I have a daughter.
Yes.
I can't imagine someone doing the same to my daughter, man. So you want me to do this to someone's daughter on screen? I was like, yeah, man, that's the life of an actor. You have to do it.
And sometimes guys play the role so well. I remember Denzel in Flight, Denzel in Man on Fire.
Yes.
Because at the time I was still going through my addiction.
Yeah.
I was certain that this guy has gone through addiction.
Correct.
The way he did it, I'm
yes.
like,
yes.
No.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, for a guy like Denzel, I'm sure he studied a lot of alcoholics and whatnot. I really wonder what Pascal did, because during that whole interaction, I didn't see him looking for an abuser. Just to sit them down and go like, so how do you do it, man? But he just got into it. But it was a struggle. In fact, at some point, we'd set up everything, and just as the cameras roll, it'd be like, hey, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm still not yet there. Give me a few minutes. Let me just soul search for a bit. Then we'd stop everything for like a whole hour.
Yeah.
Just for him to go down and go into the depths of his soul and just find that character that we are looking for. And then he'd come back and just execute. In fact, there's a role, man. Oh, my God. I don't know whether it's going to be a spoiler. The girlfriend disappears, then she's caught, she's taken back to the house. Then she's put into those medieval things for torture, where your hands are put in something with some holes and your neck.
Yes.
So Pascal has that thing in the house. Then he abuses her, like literally chappers her 3 blows on the ribs, whips her like 20 times, then rapes her.
Oh my goodness.
Bro, we stopped and took like a 2-hour break because everyone on set was uko in tears. Pascal himself was, it was insane. So yeah, it's a lot of work for some of these roles, and that's why you need an experienced person.
Yes.
There, I can bet you money, had we gone with someone else, I don't think the effect would have been the same.
And how do you settle on a director? And before you answer that, as a 34-year-old Kenyan who grew up, of course, watching the industry, why does it feel like before you guys now came on the scene and what you guys have been able to do till today, there was a gap somewhere from the Nini Washira days?
Yes, it's true.
What happened in that gap? What was happening or what was not happening?
Nice. So I keep telling guys that this country is a TV state. We're not a film state. We're a TV state. So what that means is we consume a lot of TV. Mexico is also a TV state.
Telenovela.
Yeah. Philippines, TV state. They consume a lot of television. A lot.
Is that a cultural thing, or is it because you can be passive?
Can I shock you? Governments used to use them to brainwash people.
To pacify.
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah. So when you know your economy is shit, you commission a lot of telenovelas so that you can give the masses hope. Because what's a telenovela? It's a poor girl ending up with a rich dude, or vice versa.
Yes.
So the bottom line is there's still hope. Regardless of whatever you're going through, there's still hope. And guess who started it? The US of A.
So are you telling me?
Yeah.
I was watching Days of Our Lives and Cuando Se Smia.
Yes, that was government propaganda.
And Neighbors. And then Neighbors used to hook you.
Yes.
When I come to think of it, that thing was 15 minutes.
Yeah,
with
it was
ads
very
in
short.
between.
Yeah.
But every day I was like,
yeah, I know.
after work or after school, rather.
Yeah. So the CIA started it. Wow. They started commissioning soap so that, especially during those Cold War days, so that they can pacify people because things were tough, man. So that's how telenovelas came to be. So for some countries, they went heavy on TV. Others are heavy in terms of film. Kenya is a TV state. Now, here's a problem with being a TV state. Not very many people can fund television shows. You need the networks.
Yes.
Now, we've gotten to a point where the networks are struggling. Yeah, no one has the budget. So,
but the networks you're talking about now, conventional, like channels,
Citizen, KTN,
okay,
TV,
okay.
Yeah. Now the streamers are coming in, but before then, we were heavily dependent on those guys.
Yes.
Now, so some good things happened, like Citizen, the rise of Akina, the Tahidi Highs, the Inspector Mwalas, those are good things. But now, film was taking a beating because now everybody shifted to the TV side. Nobody wanted to risk with film. So the few producers that were left behind started looking for funding for film. Now, funding film in Kenya is a long shot because Kenyans, again, are not very good consumers of film. So even the investors were like, okay, yeah, we'll give you our 15, 20 million, but how do we recoup? How does this money come back to us? That was a problem. So a very talented producer like Wanori Kahio would take 5-6 years just looking for funding for her to be able to produce a nice full feature film. Bana.
And are we not good consumers, or are we just, for lack of a better word, cheap? We like free stuff.
We like free stuff. It's a culture thing because the entertainment that has been presented to us has been presented for free. Ukienda washe TV, you will get that show for free. Sahi, it's not really free, but ukifanya kitu kubwa hapa, the first question that comes out of people's mouths is, hey, na hii kitu yako, hii makosa ni yangu, hii movie deadly, mbona haiko YouTube? They want to consume it for free on YouTube.
Matter of fact, put my PayPal up right now. Let's change the narrative, man. If you're liking this episode so far, I put my PayPal there.
Yes.
Contribute something, man.
Exactly.
It takes time, it takes effort.
It takes time, it takes effort. It's expensive. This thing is not easy. But people have been accustomed to getting entertainment for free. That's now where the problem lies. So now, very wonderful and talented filmmakers are taking years looking for this funding. So what's the average lifespan of a human? Say 70 years.
Yeah.
So you started producing movies at age 20. So you have 50 years of production. Out of these 50 years, you spend 4/5 of the time looking for funding. But we're living below our potential.
Yes,
that's where film disappeared in this country. No one was willing to take the risk until COVID happened.
COVID, everyone's at home.
Everyone is at home, and we found a loophole. So when I started telling the stories on YouTube, what ended up happening was I started forming a community.
Was that necessity, or was that necessity and creative expression just happened at the same time? Because you're at home, you're a creative.
Correct.
And everyone was yearning to be entertained.
Sasa, this is the weirdest bit. Us guys were doing it as a pastime. Because we knew this COVID thing, it will end in like 3 weeks.
Little did they know.
Oh. So we sat in the house for weeks, man. And I kept telling these stories to my wife and my baby there. At some point, they got so fed up. They were like, hey, bro, cheki, fanyaje. Wacha tukupatie simu. Tukurekod uko kwa vichaka. You do your stories there. Let's upload it. We see what happens. I really wanted to get into the online space, but I didn't know how. Na nilikuwa nafikiria kuingia na skits na shindo mazee. My good friend Jugush is doing the same. I don't know. It would be nice if I did something different. So when my wife told me that I can just sit on a stool and they record me telling a story, man, I felt like that was one of the shittiest ideas ever, man. In fact, at some point I refused. I was like, apana.
Because you, at that point, you've already interfaced with
big productions, TV. Man. Me, I'm a guy who does TV shows for Maisha Magic. Yes. So you're telling me to sit on a stool to tell stories? Awe, wacha, unanibeba aje wewe. But I tried. I went and did the first one. Oh, bro, that thing went viral.
Yeah.
100,000 views in 24 hours, bro.
Wow.
She was like, we're doing another one, and another one, and another one. Before long, we were in episode 5. Now the things had shikad. People were telling me to get off Instagram because I used to post them on Instagram.
Yes.
But if you remember at the time, the longest you can have your content on Instagram was 14 minutes. They wanted more. They were like, apana toka IG. Tunaitaka YouTube where you can have it as long format.
But what I'm also hearing, yani for you, usani burns inside because during lockdown, as of course guys are thinking about, hey, we don't have a job, you know, my job.
Yeah.
You still finding that artistic expression has to come out.
It has to come out because these stories I'm telling, I have to fit the bill. They know me, I'm a guy for television. So even if I'm sitting on a stool to just tell these stories, they must feel the thrill. That one is innate. Iyo iko tu ndani yangu. So going to YouTube, my business partner Philip and I discover, wait a minute, that community we've always been looking for. Sindio hii. These guys who keep telling us, tokeni Instagram and then YouTube. These guys, ukiwaambia, we have a movie here and we're selling it for 200 bob. A good chunk of them will buy. So now that's how the very first movie, A Grand Little Lie, came to be.
Yeah.
It was a guinea pig. So we went and wrote it. That's why we were doing it so fast.
Yes.
Wrote it in like 2 weeks, shot it in 8 days, post-production 3 weeks. It was out in less than 2 months. And those guys bought them. We sold 17,000 links of A Grand Little Lie And we were like, oh my God.
So you guys are balling during COVID.
So that 17,000 links was enough money to recoup the investment that we had put in Apo Agrande, and we still had a little something left to shoot like a small pilot. We decided, you know what? Gone are the days where producers would spend months, years, looking for funding. Our funders are our people right here. As we speak, Eric, Makosa Ni Yangu has cost us upwards of 12 million bob. Just the movie only. Don't even count the event, because the event is also an equivalent. That 12 million bob, we only financed half of it.
Community.
The other half is community.
You know, you're preaching to me as we're having this conversation, because I was talking to someone, a very good friend of mine, shout out Sajid from the Coffee Pump podcast, and we're talking about how we're growing our pages. And I was telling him, you have to do every episode like we're doing it for 100,000 people.
That's what's up.
So if I put my thing and I'm live and it's 14 people watching, when I'm doing this thing, I need my heart and soul.
You give it your all.
Those are the community.
Bas.
Yeah, and that's how you grow your community.
Exactly.
To the point where guys are funding half of 12 million.
Half of 12 million. Imagine. Bro, man, when we put out the tickets, in fact, our producer friends were like, you guys are moving different, man. Do you know, we sold the concert, put out a sold-out poster, then now we released the trailer.
Wow.
We sold a whole arena of 6,000 people, and those people did not know what they were coming to watch. We released the trailer after the event had been sold out.
Do you feel pressure?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. In fact, I was talking to the people who are bringing Burna Boy next year. A good friend of mine called Joy. Joy works for... Actually, I don't know whether she owns it or she works for the ticketing company, Madfan.
Yes.
They're the ones bringing Burna Boy next year. So I was like, Joy, man, after Burna Boy, what next? Because me, I'm feeling that pressure. We've already sold the biggest premiere on the continent.
No, you guys are lifting the ceiling as you go.
Correct.
Yeah, like you're at the forefront of moving this culture to the next place.
Yeah.
And every time, I would imagine, because you know the way musicians, their second album, it's called the Sophomore Cast.
Yeah, the Sophomore. Yeah.
They always struggle to live up to the first. Is it constant pressure? Does that affect your creative process?
Man. So for us, it's been a bit different, because I feel like whatever products we've been able to put out have always been better as we progress. I know what you're talking about with musicians, because even me, Maze, anything that came after Get Rich or Die Trying.
Like Autoshi Mboga
Bado. There's just that rough, rugged and rawness when you're starting out. But for movies are like wine. You get better as you age. Yeah, because you gain more experience. I feel like for movies, once you get out of your area, because now Get Rich or Die Trying came with Big Bank.
Yes.
So now 50 Cent is not that guy from Queens.
The hunger has gone.
That one has gone. Now he's rolling different. He's
buying Mike Tyson's house.
You see? Sasa huko manze hakuna vitu za hood nzuri za kuimbia, unless now you change your audience completely and you start singing for our say. But you know, we fell in love with Get Rich, because even us, we were hood at the time. And we felt like this guy is speaking our language. So that's usually what happens. But for movies, it's different. By the look at any good producers, their movies keep getting better and better and better. The only thing that you need is the consistency. Once you stop doing those things, you start to rust. That's the other thing about movies. But you need to be there.
But in the whole machine, from you, the producer, everything attached, from the director, the cast, the behind the scenes, all those intricacies. Once you put out a successful project, do you feel some sense of, now I have mouths to feed? Like now I have it's not just about Abel Mutua.
Correct.
I now have a movement.
Yes.
Like I have my producer here, and we're in this together. Man.
Yeah, true, man.
So I can't just be like, it's been real. I think I'll close it at episode 25. Thank you. This guy has done a whole career change. So there's for you. All those moving parts.
And
how do you keep your eyes on the art and not so focused on the ones and zeros?
Nice. That's why, manze, producers shouldn't be artists. They should just stick to the behind the office desk pale and worry about numbers and let the creative guys do the thing. Once you start fusing both of them, it becomes a problem. Because now there's a beautiful thing that you want to achieve there, but now the ones and zeros start ringing in your mind, and now you start compromising. That's a problem. So for me, what I do is I detach. So we've done a very nice split with Philip. Philip now handles the ones and zeros. Mimi now, I'm 100% into the creative.
Artist.
Yes, that's why I was there. I was on set when this thing was being filmed. So that I make sure that anything that we need to achieve artistically, we have achieved. If Philip had come on set, things would have been different. Yeah.
Let's cut this out.
This one I don't think we need.
How big did you say the screen was?
680
The
panels.
biggest screen in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, like let's
let's do half, guys. Yeah.
But
guys
also,
will still see.
I mean, from Kibera to where you are now,
Yeah.
as you grow and you're a family man, you have a daughter. You have how many kids?
One.
You have your daughter.
One daughter, yeah.
So you're growing, and also in terms of socioeconomic, the taboo word socioeconomic status. So even your lifestyle is improving.
Yeah.
So you can't earn less. Also,
True.
It's a tricky
balance.
Yeah. So how do you navigate that and your aspirations? Because a lot of the times our aspirations are tied to I want to be able to do ABC. And that's really attached with finances.
Yes. So I'm a very strong believer of no billionaire has one income stream. Yeah. But that does not tell you ati sasa now you do 15 businesses that are outside of your craft.
Quails acting.
Maze uko acting, uko Quails, uko na mjengo, sijui construction wapi. You're doing nothing. Build that one business that you have. Make it so big that it creates an ecosystem around it. I'll give you our example. Us guys are trained filmmakers. That is what we know how to do. We are in the content business. So we produce content. So our 8 to 5 is producing shows for Maisha Magic, producing shows for YouTube, making sure people are entertained. That's our 8 to 5. But out of this 8 to 5, there are tentacles. Because when we do content, even if it's short format content online, it's very engaging because we've done it for so long. We know how to do it.
Yes.
It's attracting corporates.
Yes.
Now, DSTV there want me to do a ad for them on my channel. Safaricom want Philip to do a documentary on their CEO on his channel. So that now becomes a second income stream.
And they're asking, you're not writing proposals.
They're asking. They're calling, yo, manze, can Peter Ndegwa come to your podcast? They're asking. Now, we're producing content for the people who I call the community. This community can also be tapped. What do people like? People like fashion. And they like me as Mkurugenzi. So let me merge the two. Let me have a fashion line with the Mkurugenzi logo and just sell to a fraction of this community.
Yes.
Now that becomes another income stream. So you have a whole ecosystem around this content thing that is able to sustain us. And once your basic needs are taken care of, that's it.
Now
You won't compromise. Ukijua rent yako imelipwa na watu wako wamekula, bro, 680 panels does not takikana. Let's get it. Because I know with or without the panels, my people have been fed. But if you're struggling kidogo to do the basics.
But if I'm and with all due respect, I'm not. I don't mean to have bad manners by pocket watching.
Yes.
I know how much I make off my YouTube.
Yeah.
It's able to pay one or two things, small things. And people know, you can see the size of my channel.
Yeah.
Bro, just off YouTube.
Yeah.
You're doing all right, man. Just off YouTube, bro.
Sasa, let me shock you. The money is not bad, but my workforce is massive.
Okay.
I have a payroll of 14 guys off of YouTube.
Wow.
14.
Is it able to pay that?
Yeah. I don't remain with anything, but everyone has been fed. Because I know This YouTube is the one that is building this ecosystem I'm talking about. So now when ABSA come, now that's money I can take to the bank. When DSTV
No pun intended. I see what you did there.
Nice one.
I see what you did there.
Correct. Yeah. So for me, YouTube is a tool. That's why I invest heavily. Let's just do it correctly the way it's supposed to be. Quality sound, quality picture. It will attract other income sources.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how I operate.
I love that. I'm actually learning. I feel like I'm in a master class. But now we've seen people come and go.
Yeah.
And what you guys have been able to do is have longevity. My very good friend, and I say that with no fear of anything, Andrew Kibe.
Yes.
Andrew Kibe, of course, we all know what happened.
Yeah.
He was deplatformed for the kind of content he was doing. And part of his recourse was to attempt to kind of have a platform for Africa.
Yes.
Now, when I went back to the drawing board and thought about it, when you potentially think about even investing in something like that, these YouTubes and Netflixes, is there any chance of having a parallel universe? Really? Because these guys have been in the game since 2007.
For the longest, man.
And they've, even as a user,
Yeah.
as a content creator, now on the YouTube studio side, it's so seamless.
It is.
They've made it so fantastic.
Yeah, man.
Yesterday, again, Coffee Pump Podcast, shout out, I went to visit their data center and I got to see like the back end of how things are kept. And
oh, really?
it's somewhere in Karen, a company called Icolo.
YouTube or the Netflixes?
They have their data center. All those guys
All the
host
tech,
them. Yeah.
all the big tech companies.
Yes. They are hosted there.
Oh, nice.
A place called Icolo in Karen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was given a tour of their facility.
Oh, man.
The kind of requirements to have uptime, the kind of subscriptions these guys are paying, you can't just start it's not that easy to just come and say, I'm going to start a streaming platform
I know.
and have uptime with all these people uploading, downloading, streaming,
it's
liking.
crazy.
So,
Yeah.
is there any chance of that ever happening?
There is. The only thing that we need to do is start. Just start now. Because even when YouTube was starting in 2005, they weren't the same way they are now.
Yes.
Yeah, they had their teething problems at the time, but because of the consistency, they kept at it. That's why they're the behemoth that they are. So us guys decided, when these organizations do their thing, if they lie to you that they're doing it because they have your best interests at heart,
We just love you.
as Africans, that's the most blatant lie ever. Nobody cares about you as an African. That is one thing that our dear president needs to learn. I see the way he's sniffing Bill Gates all over, man. He needs to know that nobody cares.
Karate,
It's karata, man. Those guys have vested interests. So the only way we can get out of this hellhole is to start doing it ourselves. I was in China for 3 weeks.
I remember, yes, you told me.
Bro, those guys do not know what YouTube is. They don't have YouTube on their phones. They don't have Instagram. They don't have Facebook. They do not have Google. They built their own.
Everything is homegrown.
And they're thriving. So that's why even us, our movies, we're selling them on our own site.
Yes.
And now we have our teething problems. And Maze, I just want to give a huge shout out to Wakurugenzis. They're the most patient people I have ever seen. We have our teething problems. Sometimes they pay, the link doesn't come. They have to reach to us through the DMs and whatnot. Sometimes just reaching out to them takes like days, but they are patient with us because they know we are building. We're still in the very early stages. So that kind of patient capital is what we need as a continent so that we can start building our own. And support from the government, man. I don't know why the government doesn't see. Okay, now they're seeing there's a bit of potential here, but they still feel the need to attach themselves to a white man somewhere. I don't think we need those people.
You think we have some form of Stockholm syndrome?
Yes,
we're
yes.
in love with our capital.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's why we can't reason without them, man. And they say necessity is the mother of invention. Maybe those white guys need to leave us alone for just a bit. To struggle too. Wacha Instagram ifungwe mwaka moja. See if Kenyans will not develop an app bigger and better than Instagram. Because we have the brains. We have the capacity. We just lack the support, man.
That's so deep. I always say Kenya, we have a collective battered self-esteem.
Very true.
We are some of in fact, I think we're the greatest people that have ever been.
It's true.
Just that our ecosystem Yani has suppressed us.
100.
For you to push outside.
Hey, bro. Have you seen what our brothers are doing in Mali, our brothers and sisters? They kicked out the whites in Mali, man.
Yes.
And in less than 2 years, they've paid up the entire national debt.
Kabisa.
100%.
Even the guy for Burkina Faso. And
yeah, Traore.
And I'm such a victim of neocolonialism that I'm always like, yeah, it's just a matter of time.
I know.
Before they take him out. You see something like, yeah, they're gonna. Like, I'm actively worried about it. But also, you talked about China because, there are billion plus.
Yeah.
These borders that we were given in Africa.
Bro.
Because if we could just remove those borders, the kind of money that is generated in Nigeria, South Africa, Central Africa, East Africa.
Why is it more expensive to go to Burkina Faso than it is going to Australia, which is 12,000 miles away? I don't get it.
It doesn't add up.
By the way, it's neocolonialism. Those borders are there to suppress us because the moment Africa starts to interact with each other, that's when we will discover that we are actually a market and we do not need anyone from outside. And that is exactly what has happened in China. In the 1980s, China discovered, OMG, we are a billion plus. We don't need anyone.
We don't need nobody.
We do not need anyone. We can transact amongst ourselves and we will still be at the top of the food chain. That is exactly what Africa needs to discover now. The fact that I cannot sell my wares in Uganda, sababu vikwazo hapa na pale, ati I can't go to a country like Namibia because as a Kenyan I need to have a visa. Why do I need a visa to go to Namibia, man? We're on the same continent. Nothing separates us. It's just imaginary lines. I can drive from here to Namibia, man.
Literally.
So why do I need a visa to come and interact with you guys? Why do I need a visa to come and sell you my products? Come and sell your products in Kenya. We'll sell you ours. Because I know we have stuff in Kenya that the Namibians need.
Don't have.
But we can't sell to them. So what do? They get them from the West.
It's actually quite crazy.
It's ridiculous. Nobody else in any other continent lives like this.
You've talked about government support. Yeah. But before I get there, you said...
Yeah.
If these guys, you've made me think, if they shut down Insta for like a year, guys will be forced.
Bro, yes.
Because of having a platform.
Yeah.
Initially, I used to be very, TikTok is for toys.
Yeah.
So now I have a TikTok platform that's growing really well.
Yeah.
And what I've come to learn, I've been sensitizing my friends. Those guys are a bit older, so people think, TikTok is for kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you enjoy Instagram, what's your favorite food? If your favorite food is pizza and that's Instagram.
Yes.
TikTok is a burger.
Correct.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's different.
Yes.
It's a whole different audience.
Yeah.
So it must mean then, because before TikTok came, we thought it's this the formula. It's Insta, it's like this. It's Facebook, it's like this.
Yeah.
But these guys have come with a whole other way, so much more leeway, much fairer algorithm.
Correct.
So now imagine if we Canada as Africa. We have trillionaires in Africa.
Absolutely, man.
And if you put a force behind it, so Andrew Kibe was on to something.
Yeah.
It's just it's support, like you said.
Yeah, true.
And now when we talk about government support in Kenya specifically, it always feels like whenever it would seem that government are coming on board,
it's because they've seen somewhere to bite.
And also the conduit between government and now the artists.
Yeah.
It always feels like you are for us, then you're for them now.
Yeah.
What happens there? Selfish interest?
Yeah, man. So,
and how do we curb that? How do we bridge the gap where we're able to reap the benefits of this purported government support?
I think, and I know I'm going to sound radical, but sometimes, Bana, I think we just need to go the radical way. The reason why countries that were with us 40 years ago have taken off and now they're uko in the developed countries is because at some point they discovered that the corruption was so deep-rooted in them that something radical needed to happen. That's why presidents shot people on the beaches. Presidents hung people, because for you to get down to uko, grassroots, you need to be firm. Democracy, they purport that democracy works, but the truth of the matter, you need a bit of some intelligent dictatorship for you to be able to run a whole country. In China, if just for a minute they discover that you've been corrupt kidogo, bro, don't even wait for them. Find ways to exit that country.
There's no chance.
Bro, you're either getting the news or you're going in for life. And those are the stringent measures that we need in this country so that now people can start thinking soberly. Do you know, for every project that happens in this country, 60% goes to people's pockets. 40% is what goes to the ground.
60?
Yes. Because you have to grease everybody on that chain. Everybody has to be greased. So once you get rid of this corruption, now things will start working. I'll give you a very good example of K-pop. K-pop, the Korean pop.
Yes, Korean pop. Yeah. Put those guys on the screen.
Yes. The government discovered, OMG, if there is an income earner in this country that we are sleeping on, is this K-pop guys. So what did they do? They took up K-pop. So now K-pop in Korea is a government affair. A band like Sauti Sol doesn't just happen. No. They get Bien from Kakamega. They get Chimano from Funyula huko. They get Polycarp from Nyeri. And they are shikanishwad by force. And they are taken to a camp for 9 months.
Artist development.
That's on Gava. No private no, it's government. In fact, the people employed to do that are civil servants.
Yes.
They are taught the intricacies of the music business. They are styled, PR, everything is done for them. Once they come out of that academy after 9 months, those are international artists. Bro, K-pop is now bigger than Hollywood by far.
By far.
Because of government. Manze, government is too powerful. Me, I hear a president standing on the podium asking people, sasa hii corruption, munataka mimi nifanye nini? Bro, you're karibu ni curse kwa
no, you can curse. You're the goddamn president.
Goddamn president, man. Unasema nini corruption imekushinda? Peleka watu ndani. You know them. The only reason why utasimama kwa podium useme corruption imekushinda is because you're part of the cancer.
If not even probably the origin.
Yeah, exactly. So where's the GRS? That's why utasimama kwa podium utuulize unataka tufanye nini na hii corruption. Weka watu ndani, man. So government support is very important. Bro, let me just give you a small example. The movie Makosani Yangu, on set alone, we had close to 80 people on set. Now, if I start counting the people who benefited indirectly,
yes,
we are upwards of 300 bob, and that's one movie. Imagine if Gava ingekuwa tu imetusupport vizuri, we have upwards of 1,000 movies coming out every year. Bro.
They don't see it. But what about all this talk of, they keep saying, we're supporting this creative industry.
It's just talk. You know what happened? They discovered that this money people are getting from TikTok, this money they are collecting from YouTube. You know that's for an exchange, yeah? Because money is coming in euros.
In euros, yes.
Maze?
Yes. So, but my bank keep charging me a weird fee.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
You know it, right?
I know it. So these guys are like, wait. So kids are making money and we are not getting a slice of that cake? So the only way we can get into that system is to purport like we are supporting. But in the real sense, we want a slice of that cake. Because the money, collectively, the money that we make from the socials.
It's a lot.
Oh, bro. It's insane.
But now with these new liberties, and I like that I brought up TikTok,
yeah.
We're seeing people speaking freely.
Yes.
Kasongo.
Yes.
And guys are pushing that they're seeing
the envelope,
what the limit is.
Yeah.
Now, that can either result in two things. You're old enough. We come from, we know who are alive during the Moi era. We know how our parents were fearful.
Yes.
We had stories.
Yeah.
When they say when an animal is backed into a corner,
yeah,
the worst of them can come out.
Yeah.
Are you fearful or apprehensive about what the worst case scenario? If we keep pushing 3 years to an election,
yes,
and me every day I feel like guys are getting more brave.
Yeah.
Those silhouettes that we keep seeing.
Yeah.
Put one on the screen for guys to see.
Yeah.
What is the pushback? Or are they going to at some point just have to yield?
So I know, and you can't. These are some of those things that you know for a fact. They're all dependent on the person who's in power at that particular time. If they wanted, in fact, if Rais wanted tomorrow, he'd shut off the internet completely. But what image will he be portraying outside there? Because remember, we're a country that kisses us. And you know those people out there, they're not for oppression of rights and whatnot. So he will still maintain the sanity and everything, because he knows as soon as he starts going left, then he starts missing out.
Everyone's watching.
Yeah, everyone is watching. So there are some sanctions that will come through which will be detrimental to him, because he knows he needs those people. So there's a saving grace right there. You need to be a don't care like Museveni. See, like Museveni doesn't give a two shits about the rest.
Yes.
So he will shut down that internet. So we are lucky we don't have a Museveni in our hands.
We're better placed. I always say we're better placed than our counterparts
Yes.
in the region.
Exactly.
But let's say, God forbid, the guy had the nerve to switch off the internet.
Yeah.
As dependent on internet as we are, anyone 50 and under,
Yeah. Oh, man.
bro, it's like crack.
Oh,
guys will need their fix.
Yeah,
I think if you want to get guys outside,
Yeah.
zima internet.
Zima internet. Oh, man. Watu watarudi kwa bar.
Because I'm even thinking the streets.
Yeah.
What are people gonna do as a
man.
pastime?
I know.
Oh, let's talk. We haven't talked in 5 years.
Hey, maze. Oh, internet. I don't think they can do that. Hey.
So when you hear things like 500 million
Yeah.
for Grammys, and you're an industry insider,
Yeah.
from the onset, did you know that was hogwash?
Of course. The Grammys have never left the US of A. Never. In
So-
fact, somebody emailed them the other day.
Yes,
You know
I saw-
what they say?
I saw that.
And they asked them, well, is it true that you guys are coming to Africa? They were like, no. In fact, we already have a date for the next Grammys, which will be in February of 2025. So it's all hogwash.
But Abel, riddle me this.
Yeah.
You have the finesse to get to the highest office
yeah.
amidst all the challenges that were there in terms of the establishment that was.
Yeah.
But your inner circle doesn't know, and they can go on public saying that, I'm talking about Itumbi. How why are they so out of touch? What is that? I cannot wrap my head around that level of out of touchness. How can you be that out of touch?
So from what I hear, I don't know, I could be wrong, but from what I hear number one is the problem. Because you can sit down and have a very good meeting with him. Very, very fruitful. But once he gets onto that podium and a mic is placed in front of him, the things that will come out of his mouth, even the people in that room during the meeting, all of them will be like, oh my God, I do not remember saying such things. That's the kind of person we have at the top. So he's the problem. And because the people under him are on his payroll, they'll just have to dance to the tune, man. Yeah. So Akina Itumbi, if there are people who I really pity, are guys like Akina Dennis, because I'm sure deep down they know some of that hogwash, maze, is hogwash. But because they're on payroll, they just have to sanitize. Yeah, comes with the job, comes with the territory.
And as an artist, because you speak very, very freely, maybe sometimes I'm scared to broach some of these topics because I have a day job,
Yeah.
The typical fears that we have as Kenyans,
Yeah.
you seem not to be bothered. Has that caused you problems in your artistic pursuit so far?
Oh, yeah. Once in a while, sometimes I do stories of national security, and I'm taken to some office pale Upper Hill, interrogated.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
They come for you?
It's happened twice.
They come to your place?
Kabisa 100. Actually, they call. They tell you, show up, ama we come. Yeah. So I go, we settle our scores, and I go back home.
And do you stand your ground?
So sometimes, because actually the reason why I've been there twice is because of national security. It's not actually about this politics stuff. I usually see their point. I'm like, okay, sasao. I did a story on terrorism. You guys think I gave way too much information. It's okay. I'll just block it. Yeah.
But isn't your information public?
In fact, I'm getting it from another arm of the government, so it's very credible.
So it's the audience that you have that they are worried about.
I guess
that speaks power, because that means any serious person who wants to take higher office, and that's what part of my dream for my platform.
Yeah,
to grow the audience to a point where people need to come here to share.
Hey, man.
You're already there.
Yeah.
For them to call you, actually, because if it's public information, but now you're disseminating it to 500,000 people. That's their worry.
Yeah. Actually, anybody with an audience right now is under their radar. Vibaya sana. Because all it takes is just two of you people with 500,000, 1 million subscribers to start some shit.
Yes.
And things go haywire.
Have they offered you a bag?
I kind of felt it during the days of the former president, because we used to have a few meetings here and there.
Kujeni status.
I know. When this one came, not so much, but I know other people have been called quite severally. In fact, as recently as during the Maandamanos, there are people who took home big banks. Big.
Give me a figure, just an idea, just so I can imagine.
There are people who went home with 3 million bob. Cash money. Others with 1 million bob.
And that's to keep quiet or tone down the narrative.
Yeah, to try and steer people to the other side. Because, things were tough. Those 2 days, in fact, if there was a time where this country was just about to go up in flames, it was that time, especially on that 25th of June. It was crazy, man.
What do you think would have happened if, I was having this discussion with a very good friend of mine yesterday, if post 25th, people actually went the extra mile? Would we be in a worse place or a better place right now?
So this is info that I got from an insider. And they said, had the Gen Zs pushed just a little more, they'd have given up the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it was this close. Well, what does Kenya look like on today, in December, had that have happened, in your opinion?
Now that's the problem. Because the push was great, but I don't think we have a replacement. Because everybody who's been in that political circle is a clown. Let me just be honest. I don't think we have a proper replacement. We need a formidable front to now take over from where we are right now. And I think that's where we are lacking. There are people who are great, but I don't think they have the muscle to take on something as massive as a presidential campaign. And that's actually, if you ask me, part of the reason why I think number one will come back after 2027 is because of that muscle. I don't see anyone around him with the kind of muscle that he has.
But I also say this, if between now and then, he's able to change the narrative. Narrative, I mean, like, not literally, but not like a believability. Hustler, this.
Yes.
And guys buy it, then we deserve him. I mean, if it looks plausible by the next go that this guy has won, we do deserve him.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Actually, we do. Because we are the problem.
Because, without saying anything further,
I totally get your point. We are the problem.
Do you hold your colleagues' feet to the fire? And I'm talking about, I know he's your dear friend, Eddie Butita. He seems to have closed ranks with
Hechi. Funny enough,
do you guys ever tell him, boss, what are you doing for us as a wider entertainment infrastructure?
I have been in the room when Eddie Butita and Hechi were present having a discussion. I was in the room seated somewhere on the corner there. And very, very beautiful things came out of that meeting. Like, he articulated the problems that the content creators were going through. And in fact, Hechi also made sure that in the room was someone from Google, someone from YouTube, I guess, someone from, I can't remember the other organizations. The principal secretary for Ministry of Information was in the room. Like, the people who call the shots were present in that room. And it was a beautiful meeting. And the things that were put on the table, the things that were plausible were taken up. The things that were a bit, they were thrown out.
So the goodwill is there.
It's there. So I don't know what happens when other people come into the picture. I don't get it. Because the few times that I've been in the room when these discussions are happening, brilliance.
Honest.
Can I shock you, Eric? Even the things that they're bringing, the SHARs, the affordable housing, perfect. Every other country that makes sense went through the same route. The Chinas, the Singapore, went through the same route. They're beautiful. But when it comes to, first of all, disseminating this information to the general public, number two, to the execution, that's where things go haywire.
What do they do to build, if you are Hechi's advisor, to build that trust deficit, to close that gap? Because right now, man, even if he says that Abel is in this studio,
no one will believe. So my advice to him would be, stop over-promising, man. We've been through the ringer. There's nothing new that we haven't seen. Just tell us the truth. Don't promise us something that you can't deliver. Tell us the truth. Let us know where we stand at the moment. Tell us what your plans are, and let them be realistic. wacha hii mambo ya kujaribu kutufurahisha. As it is, hii kutufurahisha ndio imechoma. Remember when he came in, he said 6 months times, oh, there'll be a stadium in where nini. Right now, just hosting CHAN, the African Nations Cup next year, is a problem.
It's causing nightmares.
Yeah. Hizo stadium na tulikuwa tunapromisiwa years ago ziko happy. You're overpromising. Tuambie, this is where we are at the moment. Our biggest problem is corruption. That's why we are not moving. So allow me not to build a single kilometer of road between now and this particular date. But in that time, let me collect for you this money that we are losing. Because the former president said we are losing 2 billion shillings daily. That's then. I can tell you for a fact, Eric, we're losing more now. We're losing more.
It must be more because even cosmetically, in Kenya, the politicians have mastered the art of creating the perception of development.
Yes.
And I feel the previous regime was masterful at that.
Oh, very true.
But this time round, even the perception, even the cosmetic kind of development, they've been unable to do. That means everything is going.
Everything is going, man. Oh my God, guys.
But switching gears, before I stress you too much about politics.
I know,
and
man.
we end up in an office in
Upper
Hill. You've done great in terms of your own endeavors, in terms of film content in general.
Yeah.
Who do you consume and who inspires you, though? Where do you get your inspiration?
Oh, nice. Oh, man, I'll shock you. You'd think that I am... I consume a lot of film stuff and whatnot. You'll be shocked. I actually consume very little in terms of movies. Why? Because the more films I consume, the more the need to try and produce flicks that look like them. But that's not us. That's not us. They do beautiful things. Hands down.
Yes. And by them you mean Hollywood?
Hollywood.
Yes.
Hollywood, the UK guys and whatnot, they're great. But there's just a way we tell our stories. And if we start inclining towards how they tell their stories now, that's where we start losing it. Number 2, I'm reducing the pressure for myself. These guys have been producing for 100 years. I think Hollywood has been in existence since the 1920s. Maybe earlier, because they've been footages for late 19th century. So you can't compete with people who have been in the game for more than a century. Kwani wewe ni nani? No. So me, I know where I'm scratching myself. I scratch where I can reach. So I want to tell stories the way Kenyans know how. Yeah. So I consume movies once in a while for inspiration hapa na pale, but I'm not very particular. Now, mimi ukinipata kwa mtandao, I am on YouTube. A good chunk of my time is on aviation stuff.
I want to get into that a bit, yes.
Kabisa. In fact, I look at you, Eric. I see mentor. And that's why I felt good when he said you've started a series on airmen.
Yes.
We don't have such in the country. Is there any other person who's doing aviation stuff?
I'm the first.
You're the first.
It is an honor.
Good. You have that pioneer's grace. You take it and run. Yeah, so I'm heavy in aviation stuff. I consume a lot of how it's made stuff because I love manufacturing, man. I think I should have been an engineer at some point.
You're a creator.
Yeah.
But on the aviation stuff, I want to challenge you as a fellow content creator.
Correct.
You have the resources at this point. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pursue it commercially.
Yeah.
Why not do a private pilot license?
That's what it's been on my bucket list for 4 years
because
now.
That fire burns in you, man.
Oh, it's so much there, man. In fact, at some point, I was cooling laps in Wilson.
Please do.
Yeah, I went up FTC kidogo. I didn't go in. I was just checking. I went to Boski's, Boski's.
Yes. I saw you did a promo for them.
I did a promo for them. They came through for us.
And because of who you are, if you do a private pilot license, first of all, ability, you have the ability, even academic ability. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, nice.
Because of who you are, you will have such an unconventional experience, and positively so.
Correct.
So many more doors will be open. Your PPL won't be shule. You will have such... So, because that fire burns in you, you can do it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you can.
We're doing it.
You had it live. Exclusive.
We're doing it. Because the fire has been burning for years, man. For years. Actually, I think next year I need to just stop, put my nonsense aside and just walk into a school and start.
And I know once you start, once that bug bites,
that's it.
Kalas.
Oh man, Mungu mbele.
And when it comes to people, who inspires you? It doesn't have to be restricted to.
Oh yeah, to my craft.
Yeah.
Good. First of all, anyone who's been able to make major changes in whatever field they're in, those are people I look up to. Some of them are presidents. There's a president who took Singapore sometimes in the...
Lee Kuan Yew.
Oh my God.
Lee Kuan Yew.
Bro.
No nonsense.
Nothing.
That guy damn near walked around with a belt.
Yeah. He's the reason why Singapore is where it is today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those people inspire me too.
And we loaned the money.
We did.
Imagine.
We did. In fact, at some point, we loaned them money and we gave them coffee for free.
Imagine. You go to Singapore. Just last night, I was talking to, we were having a discussion with a friend of mine, a fellow pilot, and we're defining this ethics thing. Is it black and white? Are there gray areas? And I was telling bro, you go to places like Singapore, that thing for a gray area doesn't exist. There's nothing for bending the rules. And he was like, no, but you see in Kenya, if you overlap and you want to pay a FISOC, it saves time, it's convenient. I'm like, bro, but if you go to Singapore, there's no one overlapping in the first place.
Exactly.
So we're thinking backwards.
Yeah. You're so used to being in a place where the systems don't work. That's why you think that way. That's why you think you need to overlap, pay some money so that you save time. Where systems work, you don't need to overlap because systems are working. So if you get out of the house and you look at your phone, there's an app here, I'll show you guys. It's called Alipay. Where is it? Alipay. Did I delete my Alipay? So Alipay, it's here. I don't know whether this camera can see that app.
If we can light the screen, put a bit more brightness.
Oh, I can. Let me. Yes. Good.
Can you
see that? Yeah, I'll actually take for you a screenshot. You can put it there. So on Alipay, there's travel. Up here, there's Didi Travel. Didi is their taxi. Trip, air, train. You can book your train or your air services there. You can book your hotels. It even translates for you because Alipay is Chinese. So everything is in Chinese. But because they know they're global,
yes.
You have and you need to translate it. You have an eSIM. There's quite a bit of things you can do with this Alipay. So anytime you need to travel, you just get in here and you decide what mode of transport you want to use. If it's a cab, if it's the metro, the subway, if it's the tram, if it's an aircraft, it tells you exactly what time you will get there. And I kid you not, you will be there on that time, at that time exactly.
They've mastered it.
Yani, this app is so powerful. When it rains on the app. Like you can see droplets on the app. That's what good systems do to people. And everything there is affordable. Like a proper train ride that will take you from here to Garden City is only 2 bob. Their 2 bob is 36 shillings here. And it tells you will get there in exactly 13 minutes. And bro, you will be there in 13 minutes.
So do you feel...
need to overlap.
Do you feel like sometimes we, especially because you have the privilege of travel, when you come back, sometimes you feel like you've traveled back in time?
Bruh. And you know where it hits you? It hits you
JK.
right as you get into JKI. Man, unashuka kwa ndege hivi unapigwa na harufu ya urinal pale. You know you're back. Oh. Manze, you're back. Ay, manze. And you know the thing about us ni, we are so bright, we are so sharp. Bro, hii kitu si kitu ya kutushinda. We can do it. We can do it 100%. The only problem is, man, the people who are up there are doing it for every other thing than the benefits of the mwananchi. Their selfish interests. As long as they shiba kwanza, the rest of the things can panga themselves. Now, that's just the worst. China, maze, it is so bad. People have, because every region has their leader.
Yes.
They'd rather construct a whole superhighway and skyscrapers for nothing. So there are ghost towns with superhighways and skyscrapers. You'd rather have them. Kuliko mdosi atembee kwako apate hauna hizo vitu. Bro.
Wapi barabara?
Wapi road hapa? regardless of whether there are people or not, because kesho tu you will mine gold hapa, mtakuja mpige exploration, mdiscover, oh wait, we have minerals here, so we need people here wakuja watoe hizi vitu. Where will they stay? Ati sayo ndio unaanza kujenga barabara,
so they think into the future.
Yes,
but
that's the thing I love about them.
You're a masterful orator, naturally. Storytelling, creating, that ties to potential leadership.
Actually, you saw naniambia hivyo mazi, Nkuru bana run for something.
Yes. And you know, we have the Kenya narrative of artist turned leader.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is not the same guy.
Yeah.
So we have Abel. Hey, Abel.
Yeah.
But I think you should give it a stab.
So you know what we've decided to do, Philip and I, because we know how the system works. We know it is rotten. Yani, for you to change the system, you need to be psychotic. I don't think we're ready for that kind of headache. So what we've decided is we're going to change the area where we are. That's what we'll start doing. So if we have Abel and Philip changing the film sector, we have Eric changing the aviation sector, it will get to a point where the politicians will be irrelevant. A good thing we did this year is that movie I'm telling you about, A Grand Little Lie, we did in 2021. We actually ended up selling it to Netflix this year. I think sometime in June or July thereabout. Do you know the money that we got from Netflix? We called back the actors and we gave them the money. Royalties have never happened in this country. Never. There has never been anyone who has been paid royalties out of a movie they've done in this country since independence.
And the royalties exist. It's not that they are not there.
They're there, but tulishamalizana time ya shoot. Yeah, whatever comes, me I pocket. Yeah. So those are the things that we need to change, man. In fact, I remember Maze, when we were sending out the checks, one of the chicks cried literal tears because they were in the middle of a project and that project was draining them 100%. Then, pop, I can lose 50 Gs that just hits you from nowhere for work that you did 2 years ago.
And that's what royalties are supposed to do.
Exactly.
It's to sustain the Msanii in the future because there are ebbs and flows in the industry.
Bas. So if everyone did their part, imagine the politicians will be super irrelevant.
But I got to ask you before I let you go.
Yeah.
This culture, in as much as, of course, we sit here from a point of privilege. I am relatively okay.
Yeah.
You do as well.
Yeah.
But how do we inculcate this culture of people appreciating the time people took to do something? You don't have to send 1,000. Send someone 50 bob. 1,050 bobs add up.
Exactly.
Like I've sat with Abel here. We've had a fantastic episode. Most of you have probably watched from beginning till this point.
Yes.
And are still watching.
Yeah.
How do we change that culture of mkonogam?
Oh, very nice.
Konobirika.
You know how we do it? And actually that's something that really helped us to try and change the culture. Now, Wakurugenzis move different. Why? Because we showed them the process. Don't just show people the good stuff that comes after. Show them the muddy stuff. Yeah. Show them when you've hollered at a guest for weeks, manze. Then you come and set up, alafu the guy doesn't show up. Show them those things.
And it's happened. In fact, we were laughing with my producer. There are times, like you're probably the biggest guest I've had so far, but one of the easiest. Like text, call.
Yeah.
Amidst your busy schedule, you just told me this date.
Yes.
Bro, there are guys, by the time I get them to sit in this chair,
they
might as well even have me arrested.
You're bombing them proper.
There are guys I have hounded, of course, and everyone is busy. What is a podcast? Some guys are, podcast? Huh? Ati?
What's that?
Root station? Ati? I'm like, no, podcast. But it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
It takes a lot of effort. It's, of course, passion. I love doing this.
Good.
All my soul. I love it as much as I love this.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a match made in heaven.
Good. Actually, I was very excited when I walked in and the Fox was recording the BTS.
Yes.
Those are the things that show people the process.
Yes.
Hizo vitu ziweke out there. See, we did them. We showed them how, the kind of headaches we go through just putting up a movie out there. They saw the behind the scenes. They saw the number of people on set. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe, Maze, I've been consuming this for free. wacha nipatie mseso mbili yangu because this is a hell lot, and tomorrow my cousin will be there in that crew. So if I don't give this guy 200 shillings now, when my cousin joins his team, hiyo pesa ya kumlipa itatoka wapi?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how have you kept your wits about you? You're a famous guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's now just Kenyan famous, Africa famous, world famous. How have you kept? There's no Didi party Abel Mutua story.
I know, man. I know.
Yeah, is it? You have a wife.
It's because I haven't figured yet. So the problem with most of us is we've figured. Yeah, that thing that we were chasing, we have it now. I'm tati. But for us, in fact, I keep telling this story. Back when we were in Tahiti, when every one of us felt, now this is it. We are on the biggest show in the country, man. Actually, the biggest show in the region, because Citizen was in TZ and South Sudan as well. Guys relaxed. Philip told me, brah, if we don't find the next thing to do here, Tahiti might actually be the biggest thing that we are on.
How did he have the wherewithal?
I have no idea. I think he needs to sit here.
Yeah. You have an open invite.
Yeah.
Wow.
We were 22. We were 22 at the time. Bro, let me tell you, Tahiti was...
Pesa, access.
We used to walk into a bar like this, guys fist fight. For them to buy for us beer. Million buyer, pa. Imagine, guys are fighting to buy for you alcohol. Bro, bana, if you're not grounded, utajiambia, this is it, man. This is the life. What else am I chasing? But Philip told me, apana, we need to find a way. You feel like the productions that are out here are not exactly where they need to be? Yes. You know why? It's because we are not at the table. We need to find ourselves a seat at that table. And when they do not welcome us to their table, we will construct our own table right next to them. Pale.
I love that.
Yes. And we will do things the way they're supposed to be done. So, Sisi, every day we are chasing. Every day we are chasing. That hunger is there to this very day. I was telling a commentator, there's a YouTuber called Commentator. I was on his podcast the other day. And I was telling him, Bana, this thing has cost us upwards of 12 million bob to just produce the movie. The event, another 12 million bob. So now we have sunk in like 25 mic deep. This money needs to be made by any means necessary. So me, I have no time to sit down and just be a celeb.
Yeah. Signing autographs.
Hey. But now that money has to be recouped. Otherwise, we go in debt and we do not have a movie next year. And the moment we start skipping years, that's where we lose the consistency. This culture that we are trying to change it will be impossible. Because now that consistency builds the culture. So lazima nihangaike hapa town, nikijaribu kutafuta hii pesa, tuirecoup na tukue na pesa ingine ya kushoot next year.
I really relate with that hunger.
Yeah.
And family, because I look at your relationship with your family also, as a married man as well.
Yeah.
I think family are the best humility center.
Very true.
I see how your daughter kutambui.
Mbaya.
She loves you so much, but there's like a...
Yes.
You're just a paps.
Celeb. Wewe ni celeb huko nje. Hapa kwa nyumba, wewe ni daddy.
There's a different sheriff.
Bus.
Does that help you also stay with your feet on the ground?
Actually, I think the reason why I didn't go off the walls, Mazeni, because they came very early. Very early. My baby came when I was 23. At 23 is when my colleagues were...
There's a whiling.
Hey!
The streets.
Manze! Yani, and it was all expenses paid. Kila mahali wanaenda mazee wanaambiwa, do not pay a single dime. You're madharau.
Yeah.
You are on our tab. Manze watu walienda haywire. Mimi manze niko hapa jo. They kept me grounded. So after my daughter came, manze, I went 110%, yani full grind mode. I worked so hard, mazee, I was collapsing huko juu ya fatigue na nini. But what I didn't know is that I was building something. Now it really helped me to steer off these other things that were happening, mazee. The side shows juu. Some of my colleagues never made it out. Wali sink na wakasinki gitu wakienda. So I think they were brought there for a purpose, both my wife and my daughter. Were it not for them, mazee, I don't think I'd have been here.
So far, this has been, by the way, to my viewer, this has been my favorite episode to do so far. And and I've done 24. So
yeah. Oh, you're 24 deep.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Quick fire.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe in God?
Yeah, I believe in God. I think that's he's the reason why I'm here, man. Yeah, I have no control over whatever is happening.
I love that.
Yeah, this was all written at some point. Mimi ni chombo tu. Mimi nakimbia tu vile anasema niende. Bas.
Did we go to the moon?
By we, you mean humans?
Yes.
I have a very strong theory that the people who brag the most about going to the moon never actually made it to the moon. I think the Russians did. The Americans, I'm still in doubt.
I love it.
Yeah.
Is the world flat?
The world is not flat. Yeah, that's why when I'm in China, nyinyi huku bana ni mchana na huko niko usiku. Yeah, because it's the global effect.
Yes.
That globe
where
the sun is shining inamaanisha huko ni mchana, but this other side of the globe, because it's a globe, itakuwa tu ni giza. So that if that is not proof enough that the world is not flat, sijui ni nini ingine unataka.
Do we have beings from other worlds?
Wow. So if I'm to think scientifically, although to be really honest, I haven't delved like deeper into, that's what, astrology. Is that astrology or cosmetology? But from what I understand, the little knowledge that I have is that Earth is a very, very, very small percentage of the entire ecosystem. It is like a grain of sand.
Can I blow your mind?
Yeah.
So there was this narrative about how every grain of sand represents one galaxy.
Aha.
So the other day, a guy called Brian Cox comes and revises it.
Yeah.
He said,
yeah,
for that to make sense,
yes,
each grain of sand has to represent 1 billion galaxies.
Each grain of sand
has to represent a billion galaxies for it to be relatable with that grains of sand versus.
Yeah.
So that, think contextual. Let that sink in.
It's insane. It's unfathomable.
It's mind-boggling.
So if we're in existence here, then what is stopping other beings from existing in those other realms?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think there are other people.
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah.
Mr. Legend, Mkurugenzi himself,
my man,
Abel Mutua, man. Yeah.
It's been amazing.
That's been my favorite episode to do so far. As in free-flowing conversation. I was, I'm so genuinely curious about riveting stories.
Nice.
And you've been so open.
That's
been so kind, man. Pleasure to meet you in real time. I'm a huge fan.
Kabisa, man.
Yeah.
And I'll take you up on that aviation stuff. I think you're like the 4th, 5th person to hit that nail on the head. I think it's a sign.
I think you'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd like you to tell my wonderful audience, first of all, to do for me a drop.
Very nice. Very nice.
And also just give them some words of advice.
Awesome. First of all, if you're not watching Every Other Time with Eric, sijui unafanya nini na maisha yako mtu yangu bana. This is where gems are dropped, maze. So please do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell just so that you know when Eric drops something. Hey, Maze, let's keep the fire burning, Maze. Yeah, we are nothing without you. We need you 100%. And like we said, Maze, we need to change the culture. Entertainment should not be consumed for free. So please, because I know you're not a cheapskate, you don't consume for free. So please help spread the word. Ukisikia mtu anasema anataka kudownload nini ya mtu ndio asilipe, mwambie hapana. Hiyo haisaidii mtu, because that person today might be your relative's employer tomorrow. Okay?
Deep.
Bas. Twende kazi, guys. Love you so much. See you on the next.
Thank you so much, man. It's been Every Other Time with Eric. An amazing episode. Abel Mutua, you have an open
yeah, nikiwa tu available too, I show up.
Yeah, feel free, man. Anything you want to come promote.
Yeah.
Man, I'm happy to support everything you do,
nice.
Man. I'll always support, man.
Speaking of which, we did the thing a few days ago on 7th of December. We produced, not just to thump my chest, but I think it's one of the greatest things to ever come out of Africa, man. Please, if you have some 250 shillings to spare, go to www.feelittv.com. Nitakuandikia tu ndio uniweke.
We'll put it here. We'll definitely put it on the screen.
Yeah. Buy the film. It's 250 bob. If you're philanthropic enough, buy for other people. You don't need to buy and send it to them. Hapo kwa where you're required to pay, there's a dash for any other amount. So choose. Kama unataka kuweka 1,000, we'll send you your link. Then the 3 other links, we will distribute it to the people who really need to watch the film but do not have the means. So tusaidiane, one by one, pole pole, we will reach our target. We have to sell 200,000 links, man, and we can't do it without you. Sasa wadau. And I think you should find a name for your people.
Every other timers.
Oh, the every other timers.
Every other
Love
timers, man. We
it.
love you all, man. Keep supporting.
That's
It's
what's
been Abel Mutua, another riveting episode.
Awesome.
Stay tuned for more. It's a wrap.